Welcome to the Anti-War Museum, which was the first of its kind, founded in 1925 by my grandfather, Ernst Friedrich, which means Ernest the Peaceful. So he believed he had to do something for peace. In the year 1933, the Nazis stormed the museum, and out of the House of Peace, they made a torturing chamber, because Hitler didn't want an anti-war museum, Hitler wanted war. We founded his museum, Friedrich's Museum, in 1982, so we're nearly 40 years old right now. And we're a museum against any kind of violence, brutality, or wars. Out of the first museum, which was founded nearly 100 years ago, you can see here a butter former of the Iron Cross, a German medal given to soldiers. So you could put the Iron Cross in butter onto your breakfast plate every Sunday. Another subject out of the first anti-war museum in Berlin was this grenade. It was so big, about 2 meters high, that they called it the first bomb. And you can see it underneath the underlining, "With God together for our king and our fatherland." So the Germans thought God was on their side, but the French and the British, they thought the same. So one could actually ask, on whose side is God actually in war times?
Hier ist der Befehlsstand der 1. Flakdivision Berlin. Die gemeldeten Bomberverbände befinden sich im Raum Hannover-Braunschweig. Wir kommen wieder.
That was the end of the bombing. People had to remain on their seats. That was a kitchen chair. Everybody had to take down his or her own kitchen chair. And you had to sit down on that and keep seated, because that was controlled by the fire brigade man. Hitler gave the order that all families had to take over gas masks like this. And here we see a gas bed for babies. So she was able to go through the streets, and if the baby was too loud, she could grasp inside, a glove is sewn inside, so she was able to soothe the baby with the glove inside. We're opponents of the atom bomb. We would be happy if the politicians and people in governments would agree that we don't need any atom bombs on our planet. So we wish this for young people and the future generations, that they will not have to undergo a war with atom bombs. Well, it used to be to take over land or oil from other countries to make some countries stronger in order to dominate other countries. But nowadays we don't have so many wars of states against each other. We have more small kind of civil wars with warlords, soldiers who are being organized to begin revolutions. If we look at nowadays wars, we must also recognize that mostly civilians are being killed, especially if cities or villages are being bombed, then houses are being bombed, and that means women, children, old people are being killed. Not so many soldiers. On the other hand, we must always be in fear of wars and even bigger wars, because mankind is also full of aggressions. But we hope, of course, that peace and understanding will dominate aggression in the long run, that people will learn out of the history of wars. So if we want to stop wars, we should have to do something against arms export. We should have to do something for better education, to educate young people in order to do something for peace worldwide. And we would have to do something for the social situation of people, because wars can also begin because there's a great social misleading, and every day in Africa and in other countries belonging to the poor countries, thousands of children and young people are starving to death or do not have enough water. So we must also recognize that the capitalistic system is not doing enough for poor countries and for poor people. And if we would have a more healthy life, a more peaceful life on our planet, by the way, we've only got this one planet. If we could do more for social understanding and health, especially concerning Corona right now, well, then we would have a more peaceful world altogether. Yes, dear Jodelers, I'm very happy that a group of you have visited our museum, the Anti-War Museum, and my appeal is that we have to work together for peace, for good education, and that we will solve political conflicts without throwing bombs. And we want to get rid of atom bombs, hoping that our coming generations will never have to cope with such terrible wars as already have taken place in the last century. Thank you for coming.